Hey guys, and welcome to another Fantasy Friday episode with me, Commander Wolfman. Well guys, I'm pretty much done with the construction work of my leman russ. Now, you'll probably be pointing out, Wolf, what have you done? Why does it look so different? You shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Or maybe when you're going, what have you done there, Baz? That looks interesting. Well, so I'll talk a bit more into detail of this in today's video, guys, obviously, and I'll explain to you why my leman russ looks like as if it's something that generally should not be used at all in the Warhammer universe. But then again, it is my imagination that's gone into this one. Yeah, we'll talk a bit more about this as we go. So before I get into today's actual full things that are going on in today's video, guys, obviously we're going to talk about the leman russ, and I'm also going to be talking about my mammoth tank from Command and Conquer, because both of these I'm going to be working on over the next couple of days. So, yes, leman russ. Let's talk a bit about her first. So, as you guys know, and I have mentioned this before on the channel, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before a couple of times on the old channel, and various times and places in the past. This is my 7th, 8th, you know what, I'm just going to say probably 10th leman russ I built over the last 10 years. Probably one a year. Don't actually know. But the point is, guys, I built many different variants of the leman russ, as probably most of you already have as well out there. Some of you obviously have magnetised bits, so you can change out your leman russ's armaments for the actual game itself, so you can take it into various battles and various different variants that it has, and obviously, you know, different chapters and all that stuff. Well, obviously, guys, as I have said, this is my 10th, maybe 9th time I built this tank, and I thought to myself, you know what, let's do something different, and I mean very, very different. Now, for those of you who might remember my old channel, I did with my first Baneblade, I'm probably going to do it with my second Baneblade, I did a lot of kit bashing with it, because obviously I felt the gun was just inadequate for, you know, for what it was supposed to be made for. Well, I decided to do something similar here with my leman russ. As a matter of fact, I've even given it a new nickname. I'm calling it the Leman Baz, because, yeah, it's my own variant, my own special modifications to it. So, to start off with, obviously this is not something you can do on the normal leman russ if you took it into real games. Leman russ has two normal exhausts. You can have one exhaust or two exhausts. I decided to give my leman russ so much energy that it probably go a lot faster than the typical leman russ. So I've got a huge output of of engine capacity going on back there. I've also changed the layout for the locker back here. I was originally going to keep it, you know, on its side like you're supposed to do, but I put mine up obviously the way it is because I could fit the exhausts on back here first. But also I thought to myself, well, technically this would be a bit more convenient. I was thinking you could put a couple of shelves in there, you know, horizontal, and you open this up and obviously you can access it that way with all your spare parts and bits and pieces. So that's my imagination. You know, you just open the hatch and all your spare parts are in there horizontal instead of vertical. I've added a few more grips and various bits and pieces across the tank to give a little bit more detail in places, as you guys can see. So I've added all those bits. I did decide to put the sponsors on the end of the day because it just looked weird without them. Plus more guns, more destructive capabilities, so I've stuck them on. And then as for the main gun, so originally, as I mentioned to you guys before, I was going to go with another option, which I will show you briefly here, and it was this option here. So I was going to go for the double barrel variant, but I actually decided that it looks cool to have a double barrel gun, but it's something I've already done before, and I'm just like, you know, nah, I want to do something very different with my leman russ. So I looked at some real tanks in history, and I have decided to do something along the lines of what the British did with, with what we did with our tanks in the late 60s and 70s. Now, how many of you know about the Conqueror tank in the British Army? Well, basically that's my idea for this. So I've got a chassis of leman russ, but I put a really big gun in the turret. So basically what's going on here is I've used two different types of guns and the barrel of the third gun to give it that muzzle look, basically. So effectively what I've got going on here is a tank that could probably deal with other heavy tanks, including some super heavy tanks, but it could also take on some scout titans as well if it was possible. But obviously, as I understand, this will not be able to get used in the game, but as I have pointed to you guys out before, if I do build any, obviously I'm building Warhammer stuff here on the channel, none of this is going to get used in the game. It's purely for, static model display. It's because I love the design of the vehicles. I love the universe as a whole, as you guys know, and I just wanted to play around with things, and that's why I've done something completely different. I know some people won't like this, but I just don't care. My model, my rules. That's the way it goes, isn't it, guys? So, yeah, that's basically what I've done with my Leman Russ. I've heavily customised her. These are all the guns I'm going to be using, so I'm going to use the two laser turrets in the side sponsons, and I'm going to use the plasma gun in the gun turret just beneath the main gun there. So that's what's going to be going on there with those bits. So let's talk a bit about the idea for the paint job for this. So I'm using pretty much all the paints I used on my my Kratos tank, and I think this is going to be the formula I'll use for any future Warhammer model kit builds, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm going to focus everything around Space Wolves, and obviously, just so I can clarify with this, I've got a lot more decals coming because I brought some in on eBay the other day, so yay, I'm happy about that. So yeah, I've got all the colours I could possibly need here. I'm going to use the same blue as I used on the Kratos as a main colour. Might use this as a secondary colour this time though, because obviously it's not as big as the Kratos. So I'm thinking leman russ this thing to hell and back again. Then add some of this blue for camouflage, various panels and bits and pieces. Going to use the crystal blue here on the Commander's Cupola, so all the scopes and bits and pieces. There's a couple of lights in various places I'm going to use this on. Got the contrast Space Wolves grey paint, so I'm going to use that probably to darken up the Leman Russ colour there to make it stand out a bit more. And obviously that will go into all of the little gaps and seams and areas all over the tank, so that'll make that stand out pretty well. The Colt, the gunmetal and the shining silver, going to go into the sponsons, the main gun, all the bits and pieces that had the mechanical side of things, including the exhaust pipes. The red is for all the lights, so the rear red lights and other bits and pieces will be all over the vehicle. Matte black will go on the tracks as a standard, as a base, and into other little bits and pieces to give a bit of dirt and grime. And then obviously I'm going to use the null oil wash to dirty her up a bit to make it look like she's been a bit used, and I'll use the tactical Strideland mud to go into the tracks and make her look like as if she's been well used. And that's basically the idea I've got going on for today, guys. So next time you see the Leman Russ, I'll definitely have some painting progress done, but she won't be done just yet, because you'll notice something else is going on here. The hatch is open. I am at the moment waiting for a Space Wolf to turn up so I can stick him inside the hatch. So yeah, there will be somebody in there eventually. Now, going on to the other project, which is the Mammoth tank. Obviously, as you guys know, I have mentioned this before. I do apologise I've not been able to talk a bit about her at the moment, because obviously I've had other projects to finish off. So I'm going to design the Mammoth tank to be in GDI colours. I'm definitely going to use a nice deserty yellowish sort of grey. Might put a camo pattern in there. Definitely got some gunmetal on the barrels. Other bits and pieces going on here. And maybe I might do a bit of kit bashing, because yeah, she is a little bit plain, but considering that she's got the major bits that are attached to us, we've got the missile launchers and one or two other little bits and pieces. I don't think I'll add too much, but yeah, I might add like, a little box here or little bits and pieces just to give it a bit of yeah, just to give it a bit of detailing and stuff. But obviously, as you guys can probably tell, before I do any of that, I've got to do a lot of cleaning first. So I'm going to clean up the massive holes that this vehicle came with. I've already filled in the gaps, but I've also got to clean up the tracks in various places, tidy up the turret, make sure there's no remaining bits of plastic floating around. Then obviously I can prime her up, paint her up, and next time you see her, she'll have a bit of colour onto her. Don't know if I'll add this into a diorama yet, guys. It's a possibility, but at the moment I just want to work on it as a static model, just like I'm doing with me leman russ there. And that basically is about it for this update, really, guys. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little update. Next week's update will be probably a bit more into these two vehicles, and then we'll go from there. But in the meantime, guys, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in the next one. In the meantime, have a nice weekend, have a nice weekend wherever you're from. Look after yourselves and take care. Ta-ta for now.